Welcome back to my channel, friends, and today I am going to work on a new feature in this application of sending a notification email whenever a story is assigned to one or more users. So the flow which we have seen till now is that we are creating a story. Let's say I'll have some description here. Okay, and I can assign multiple users, set a date, and I save. Now, when I'm doing a save, so far what we have done is we have triggered an event. Let's quickly go to the code. Story controller. So we have saved. So first we are doing the validation, then we are doing the save of the story, and with the user IDs, we are mapping the story to those users, and then we are raising an event, right? Now this event can do multiple things. So inside our providers, event provider, right, we have said that story create right now has one listener. So if we go to this listener, we have notification execute. So story email notification is something which we are triggering. Okay, this is a listener. Right now we are only doing a log. Hold on. Right, so we are only logging the story, but now we would want this to fire an to send an email, right? So that's what we are going to do today. But before we get started, because we are going to send emails, right? So you can either use any SMTP service like Gmail or maybe Amazon send email service or anything of your choice. However, I recommend using Mailtrap. Okay, this is a service which allows you to send all your emails to this particular inbox. Okay, so which means during development, even if your database has email address of actual users, or let's say they are random emails and you can have a bounce problem, you can use Mailtrap and you'll be rest assured that all the emails are going to this service only. Okay, now you can see these are the settings which are required. There is an integration drop down where you can select Laravel and you will get these environment variables. I have already configured this, but how I will show you. So my mail driver is SMTP. This is the host. Okay, host is smtp mailtrap.io. Mail port is configured. Username and password is configured, right? And they say that you should define these two variables because these two variables will be used by the application when the email is fired, right? So I have done that as well. My from email address is this and my from email name is this. So once you have your mail settings done, let's look at how we can start applying the code. Okay, so as I said, in our Laravel code we will use notifications. So right now Laravel notification supports quite a few delivery channels like email, SMS, Slack notifications, and even database notifications, right? So we will for now use the email notification. Now you can also create a normal mail class and send out that mail as well. However, I haven't tried out the notification, and so I thought, why don't we first do the notifications, because inside the notifications as well we can use the mail classes to send out emails. So we will touch on that as well, and we will use the basic notification. So what will happen is we will be covering both type of notifications, and if possible I will also check if we can do Slack messages. Anyway, so I would recommend you go through the documentation as always, because if you want to learn Laravel, there is no other better resource than going through the documentation. This will definitely help you a lot, understanding the concepts and how things work. However, right now we will go through the notifications and use the mail service. So for creating a new notification, I can run this command. I'll copy this, paste it here, and I'll say story slash story created, sorry, assigned, assigned. Okay, that's it. So what I want to do is basically create a notification class inside the story folder. Now, one thing which you should be aware of, that if your code base doesn't have the notification folder, you don't need to worry. It will be created when the event is fired. Sorry, the command is fired. So we have the notifications folder. Inside that we have story folder and we have story assigned. Right. So in the constructor, I can send multiple things. We have a via which defines which channel we are trying to use, and then okay, we also get the notifiable object. But the most important thing is, if we have our channel as mail, then we need to define the toMail method. Okay, that's the convention. You can check that out on the documentation. Okay, so it says that we can first of all use the notifiable trait on our model. For example, they are using the user. So on the user model, we can use the trait notifiable, and then we can do something like user notify and the notification class. However, we will have multiple users, so we can't fire this through a single user model, and that's why we will not use that. We will use the notification facade. Okay, so in it we use the facade, we trigger the send method. Okay, we pass the users and we pass the notification class with our data, which will be taken in the constructor. Okay, so let's get started. In here we have this. So what we will do is, inside our listeners, this we have notification execute, which means I don't need to touch here. I'll come over here inside my story email notification. I'll remove these two lines. Okay, I'm getting my story, so I don't need to do that. Rather, I will need to know which all users were assigned to this story. So let's just say we have story equals story with users. Okay, where id is story id, and we take the first row. Okay, we will get the story, and from there we need to take all the users who were assigned to that story. So story dot this should be users. Okay, and because this is a collection, I can only plug the user IDs. Okay, just so that you're clear how I got that, we will dump this story. Okay, we'll do a to array just so that it is easy. Let me see, my dump server is running, right? Yeah. So I'll dump this data and we'll get to see how now we have the story with the assigned users. So we'll be plugging this. However, what should I do? What I need to do is, I think we'll first show you the data. Okay. Come over here, refresh. Okay, only one user, 30, and hit save. Alright, nothing happened. My queue is not working, I guess. Yes. So this is here. Need to try again. Yep. And we get the story and the users array, right? So we know that we have data coming in, right? And we have user ID in here. So this is the creator, which is me, and this is the assigned user, which is again me. So the next part is going to be, I'll remove this, assigned users is this, and then once we have this, we can now call the notification facade, call the send method, and oh, sorry, no. Before we do that, we need to get the users, right? So users equals user wherein ID assigned user get. So what are we doing here? We know that this can have multiple user IDs, right? Right now we checked with only one, but it can have multiple, which means we will not do a where clause. We will rather do a where in. It will give me multiple user collection. Okay, and I'm going to send that as my first parameter. That's what we saw in our documentation of notification. If you remember, see, the first argument is a collection of users. So I'm sending that, and then new story assigned. And let us send the story model. So this basically takes care of the execute story email notification. Is going to do this. It is going to load the story, get the assigned users, load the users, send it to the notification send method, and now we come to our notification class. Okay. Now first things first, this notification should be queuable. So as always, we will say implements should queue. Okay, this is done. We know from the notifications class, we story email notification, we are passing the story. So in the constructor, we'll say that we are expecting a story object. Okay, let's create a protected variables $story, and in here this story equals $story. Okay, so now this is available to us throughout the class. And so now that we need to send the email, I know we need two things. One is title, which will be this story title, and ID is this story ID. Okay, with this done, let's frame our notification message. We will say you have been assigned to a story, and let's put the title in there as well. So this is something which I want in double quotes so that I can have these brackets which will allow me to pass these variables. So title, story, dollar title, view story, or action button, which will have, let's say, our route. Now what is our route name? Let's go to web.php, story view id. So story view, and we'll pass $id. Thank you for using our application. This is done. Okay, and let us go over here. I'll clear out the database again, and okay, so here new story, we have selected 2 users. It's an enhancement, and let us see, if everything is right, we should expect certain emails being fired. So all right, it failed. Our story created listener failed. Let's see the log file. What is the problem? Says story assigned. Is this the last error? I didn't clear out my log file. Yes, I think class this not found. That's interesting. Okay, I think this is where control I isn't. Let me remove this and import it again. Okay, so this is there. What happened? So inside actions, this story assigned is not found. Let us clear it out again. Try that. Three users. Send. Processing. Processed. Processing. Okay, I didn't change the code, but it seems that it's working now. And in here, you can see this should be 3 emails. I selected 3 users as far as I remember. Should come any moment ideally. But yeah, so this is our email notification. It says you have been assigned to a story. This is the title, and you can see I missed the URL. It's wrong. Let's fix that as well so that you can see how it looks. This is the URL which will be called, and we are running on 8000, so why don't we add that? Hit save. Because there's an env change, I need to reload it. What is this? Okay, I think one of the user may have an issue. That's why the third email was not triggered. So Bob and my email is working, so why don't we try that out again? I'll delete all the emails. Mailbox is empty. Refresh the database. Okay, and just send this out as an enhancement to me and Bob. Due date sometime today itself, and I hit save. So processing, processed 1, processing, processed 2. So 2 emails are fired. I can see to reach me at amitavroy.com and to bob at amitavroy.com. So both went through. And now, oh, that's strange. Again, the same problem. But I did change in the ENV. Okay, that is something I need to check. But yeah, the emails are firing. Okay, so I actually, you know, debugged the issue and I figured out the problem. So what you can do is at certain times you should go to your Tinker and see what Laravel is looking at in terms of, values. Config app URL. Hmm. Okay, so I was getting my port in the URL as well, so I was sure that the configuration is there. However, I realized that I haven't restarted the queue, and that's why it was not getting the new environment variable. So I had to restart my queue, and once that is done, I do this, save. It should give me an email, and now the URL is correct. So yeah, I think that's how we have used a new new service called Mailtrap to send out emails, and we have used the notifications system to send out basic emails, 2-3 liners, and typically that's what you will do in any Slack or SMS or email, which is simple notification. And when we need to send big notifications, we will definitely extend the mail class to do certain enhancements. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll strongly recommend you go through the entire documentation. It has a lot of things which you can configure and play around with, but yes, this is the basic implementation. If you like this video and other videos of my channel, then do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.